Delishees, hey, what's up? Grab a plate and taste this latest edition of the delicious culture. I am Jon Francois.
Today, I am the people of Chicago.
Yeah. And why is that? Because you are feeling for the fact that I think, what was it, 2.1 billion in funding that was taken away from them by the Trump administration?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that happened. They always take funding from people they don't like. But no, I am that glorious police officer who did not let Christine Ohm in the building to use the bathroom.
Oh, so Christy Nome, what's her title? She's like the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
The person who shoots dogs.
Oh, for fun.
Yeah. And that's her own words. She shoots dogs, and that's all we care about.
Gotcha. Also, she's the person I want to give a finger to at the airport because I see her real ID video messages come up at the airport. I don't know if you've been traveling recently, but Christine Ohm will let you know. If you don't have a real ID, you're in trouble.
But yeah, she'll let you know. And we're also probably going to get blown up soon because you don't have to take your shoes off for screening anymore.
Yeah. I realized that when I like recently traveled to LA over the summer. I was like, oh, I thought this was like a Vermont only airport thing, but no, they're becoming more lax with that. I mean, it speeds up the process, but you're saying that security wise, it's gonna only like hurt us.
You ever heard of the shoe bomber? This
Um,
man got on a plane with a shoe and a bomb in his shoe.
yeah, well, it's been a long time since I've heard that story. Yeah, you have a good point. So yeah, people can walk into planes with whatever on their shoes. Paper towels laced with bombing cocaine, who knows? But yeah, tell me the background. Like, why was Christine Nome not allowed in the building? What was she doing in Chicago?
So Christine Ohm and the rest of the ICE Gestapo, whoever these people are, they were in Chicago because they're there to invade cities and start the Civil War. And as they're doing this, Christine Ohm was at a police station in Chicago and she tried to force her way in the building with a few of her staff members. And one black police officer who was at the door said, "No, you can't come in here." And then they said, "Well, can we at least use the bathroom?" And he said, "No, you can't." And then someone tried to open the door and he slammed it shut and said, "No, go away. You can't come in here."
And they could legally do that to a government official. Like that, like Christine Nome has no case for being allowed to go into the bathroom.
They can legally do that to anybody. It's not a
Yeah.
public building.
Right.
Like, you are not allowed to just run up in a police station and do whatever you want to do. So Christy Gnome or not, dog killer gnome or not, you cannot come in here.
Right. Right. Oh boy. Well, I mean, that's a nice segue into the lead menu item in our episode today. Of course, we have to talk about the shit show that's happening in Portland and Chicago. Later on, my menu item, I'll be talking about Bad Bunny hosting the SNL season 51 premiere. And also, he's been announced as the 2026 halftime show. Christy Nome, of course, had a nice quote about the Bad Bunny halftime show as well. So we'll mention that later on. And we will wrap up on a lighter note with our pop culture samplers. You go to Costco, you want to sample something to see if you want to buy the bulky version of it. That's basically what we're doing in a pop cultural sense. But first, before we get into it, for the Delishees who are who might care or wonder why the fuck we didn't have an episode last Thursday, that was my fault. I've been going through a rocky unemployment situation. I was a little bit depressed. I tend to not want to make content during that time. So now we are back in full force, ready to make wonderful, relevant content. And the employment situation is still pending, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
It's all going to work out. It's going to work out. We're going to put the positivity out there. And if you were like craving for some culture stuff and you were scratching like a fiend, that's your fault for overdosing on us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We didn't promise you that we would be there for you every 2 seconds with content. We're doing this weekly. So if you binge us too fast, that is on you. Go get your hit from somewhere else.
That I support 100%.
Let's get started with your menu item. The American president wants to wage a war against American cities. That seems to be what's going on right now. What is happening in Portland and Chicago?
So we recently learned that judges and people alike don't really like what's happening, what this man who is a president right now is doing. They kind of like him less than they like this new Taylor Swift album.
I've heard mixed receptions of the Taylor Swift album, but go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, no, I recently read on the Associated Press. I think wasn't like so a judge originally said, Trump, no, you cannot use the Oregon National Guard to Portland. So Trump was like, fuck that, let me use the California National Guard. And then the judge was on the phone again, like, no, like I'm gonna block that as well. Like, is that the gist of what happened?
That is the gist, and he sent them anyways. He said,
Uh,
I don't care about your order. I'm going to send the California National Guard all the way to Portland, Oregon. I'm, again, not going to pay these people for what's happening, but I'm going to send them to Oregon to stop violence. Now, if you've actually seen what's happening in Portland, there is no violence. There were no protests. There's nothing going on. The supposed violence that they're talking about is some propaganda from Fox News.
Yeah, like, so from what I know, Trump literally is just looking at imagery videos from like the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests and is thinking that applies to 2025. Now, yeah, like I know there has been some protesting near the ICE facilities in Portland, but they're nowhere near as heightened as they were with the BLM protests back in 2020. So, yeah, I mean, this is just another case of the president watching something on TV that is not reality and basing big decisions based off of that.
Yeah, the douche in chief is really like pushing for something that's not happening because he wants there to be a war. He wants a reason to hurt people. I mean, out of his own mouth, he said that the military should start using these cities as training grounds. And it's starting to just get worse and worse. People are getting hurt for no reason. There's video of an ICE agent pushing a woman down and she slams her head on the ground. We don't know if she's okay. And it's just continuing and getting worse because he's the agitator. He has to create the war in order for the war to happen.
And may I commend all the journalists out there when they write their articles for calling it out what it is, because they could easily just be like, oh, the president is attacking Portland and Chicago or whatever. But no, they, at least the news pieces that I read, they usually state the president is attacking Democratic blue cities to punish political rivals, to punish people who didn't vote for him. And I think stating it what it is, the more we do that, that can help because it gives us perspective as to why this is happening. Because, I mean, you'll look at all the surveys about like, oh, crime in Portland, crime in Chicago. It's all pretty down. It does not need National Guard, but Trump and his revenge fetish says otherwise.
It's all lies that they're just trying to put out when they say that crime is up and everybody's in danger and these cities are unsafe. I mean, the fact that this man yesterday went to the 250th, I think, celebration of the Navy and said that Democrats are the enemy that we need to deal with lets
Mhm.
us know that he is expecting more violence to happen and wants it to happen. And we're seeing that just happen on the street. And it's disgusting at this point. It's just disgusting to see that there's just violence for violence sake at this point.
And you were saying, did you just say earlier that the National Guard is not getting paid for these deployments?
They're not. In order for the National Guard to be paid in any deployment like they're doing here on American soil, they have to be deployed for 30 plus days. The deployment is always scheduled for 29 days, so that way he doesn't have to pay those people. It's the same thing that he did in DC. It's the same thing that he did when the original protests were happening in LA about ICE and the ICE crackdown that was happening. You only schedule a 29-day event because at 30 days, that's when their benefits and pay kick in.
And there's no way any National Guard member or maybe a group of National Guard members can say, fuck this, we're not going to do this. Like they don't have a right to protest in that manner.
No, they have the right to refuse the orders. They have the right. Each individual National Guard person has the right to refuse those orders. Now, there are things that they will have as repercussions that will come from that, but they do not have to follow along if they do not want to.
What are the repercussions? They're just not National Guard members anymore?
They could possibly be jailed. They could be
Jesus.
fined. They could lose their National Guard status. They could lose their benefits. If they have retirement stuff, they could lose that. So they do have things that they could lose. But again, they do have the right to refuse to do this as well.
This kind of reminds me of the current government shutdown that we're going through right now, where people who are considered essential, like TSA agents, air traffic controllers, have to report to work without pay. And you kind of wonder, like, huh, how can I express my rights as an American while also like confronting the reality of like I gotta pay my bills, you know? So it's very, very tough. I saw this online and I want to get your thoughts about it. To because I do feel like Trump gets off on images, videos of like protests and fire and just absolute chaos. And I wonder, these National Guard people coming into Portland, would it be effective at all for either Portlandians to all be in their house at the same time, hide away, just have this empty desert land of a city to prove to the National Guard, like, okay, you're here for nothing, it's complete peace? Or I don't know, if they have to be out and about, uh, be just randomly hospitable. Like if you see a National Guard member, like, oh hey, like how you doing? Like, you know, I'm having a barbecue over here. You want to come by or whatever? Just like do something. Cause again, Trump pays attention to the media and how everything visually looks. Is there anything that can be done to visually give the impression that there is not a big deal happening? You know what I mean?
I don't think it would matter.
Right.
Fox News is very good at giving a slant to make things look like it's either, look at Chicago, it's so peaceful after Trump got here. And that would be people not doing anything, being in their homes. Or it would be like, look at Chicago. They're all so happy that the National Guard is here. They're waving to the National Guard on the street. They would put a spin on it to make it seem like it's only peaceful because the National Guard is there. And their viewers would believe it. People would believe it. And it's genius, but at the same time, it's incredibly evil and diabolical.
Right, right. Wow. And I think you had mentioned, didn't you say over text that there were specific unfortunate instances happening in Portland and Chicago that you want to discuss?
Well, in Chicago, if you haven't heard the news, there was an apartment building that ICE and the National Guard went to where they used flashbangs on children and family. They pulled children out of the homes with no clothes on and zip tied them and made them sit on the ground. This was a building predominantly occupied by African American citizens, and they said it was a Tren de Aragua. That's the group that they keep saying is the drug cartel that's magically destroying America from Venezuela. And they said they were looking for people who were a part of that Venezuelan gang. I think out of over 100 residents, 2 people were arrested. And the 2 people, they're not even sure if they're from Venezuela, but they did this in a Black community. And after they left, windows were smashed, things were burned, apartments were destroyed, people's property and belongings was all over the complex. And they did this because it was Black people. It's a complex full of Black people, and they did not care.
Okay. So what they were searching for, completely inaccurate, and they'll just leave all that property damage, not have any responsibility or liability toward it. Those poor children will be traumatized for quite a while. All right. Yep,
It
sounds about right.
That's exactly it, and it's the same thing that happened in DC. If you're not familiar with DC, they have a large African American population. It's huge,
Yeah.
and when they went through these complexes saying, "We're looking for Venezuelan immigrants and all these people who are undocumented," they terrorized Black people. Black people were getting terrorized for no reason, just existing. That's what's gonna happen in Chicago, even more. That's gonna happen even more in Portland. And, I forgot what the podcaster name was, but there's somebody who was, at a press conference when this all started, and he said that he had seen mass shootings on his Ring doorbell camera in DC. He was robbed at gunpoint at one point and all these lies. But he's now saying that the goal here is to just get rid of all the Black neighborhoods. If we get rid of all the Black neighborhoods in these areas, there's no den for the illegal people to hide in. And that's the goal and the focus of what they've been doing, if you pay attention.
It's like sort of a reverse version of that great replacement theory. Wow. You know,
Yeah.
instead of this theory that the immigrants are coming and the white people are all gone, it's like, nope, let's uh get rid of anybody who's not white, prominently Black people, and let's leave it all lily white. Yeah. Very sad. So I wasn't terribly surprised when Trump set his sights on Chicago, even though Chicago's crime has been down for quite some time. It unfortunately has that reputation of having crime. Portland was a surprise for me because, based of what little I know about Portland, coffee culture, bike riding culture, just it just seems like a very nice, peaceful, liberal haven. Um, I know of Fred Armisen, the comedian from Saturday Night Live, did a great sketch show called Portlandia that took place in Portland. I just never got the impression of a city that is on fire and crime and drugs. It just Portland has never screamed that to me. So that took me for a bit of a loop.
It's crazy because a lot of these cities that they say are on their list are just because they're Democratic led cities,
Yeah.
or a majority of the population are liberal or Democrats. And you can see that because the places where shit is actually happening, like churches getting shot up,
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk catching a piece of lead to the neck, all these places where there's actual violence, you're not going because those are Republican led cities. But if you can go after a Democratic led city, that's where they're headed to. But they're not going to where the real violence is.
Long-term end game plan for Trump with all this happening. I wonder because um I think there was a recent meeting with Democratic leadership trying to figure out what to do with the government shutdown, and this meeting involved like Trump 2028 hats being put out on display. Hakeem is jokingly asking JD Vance, like, "Oh, you got a problem with this?" Of course, referring to the fact that JD Vance may want to run for president himself in 2028. I am wondering if Trump is going to reverse his most recent statement where he said, like, no, I'm going to run for 2 terms. If indeed he is going to try to seek a third term, never leave office, or if he's still set on, all right, I'm done after this term. And because I'm done after this term, I'm just going to make shit go crazy because what do I have to lose? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I've said it from the moment he ran for president. He is not leaving office. I don't
Mm,
know why anybody would think he is. Everything that he is saying and doing is saying that he is not leaving that office unless he's in a box. Unless that man dies, he's not leaving. That's why there's the hats. That's why he's been saying it internationally to people. That's why he continues to go along with it. That's why he said over and over and over again, well, we can challenge that in court. It depends on what the lawyers say. Even though the Constitution says it, he's never said himself that that's not going to happen. He's always said, I'm not interested. Oh, I don't want to make that happen. Why believe a liar? A liar lies. Like he's lying. And everything that he's doing is saying he's not leaving.
yeah, try to convince that to half the country. I mean, I sent you that link where Trump is talking with the founder of Project 2025, and I think Kamala Harris herself shared on social media like, this is what I was talking about during the election, and this is what's happening. Of course,
Mhm.
Trump claimed that he had nothing to do with Project 2025 during the 2024 election, but yeah, no, he's just like, fuck it. What do I got to lose?
Like literally, let's say today, y'all are the worst of the worst. I hate you so much. If
Uh oh.
anybody from USA Today sees this, I hope that you eat dirt because y'all had the nerve to make a full article right after the presidential debate where Kamala Harris said that he's in line with the people from 2025. And then they said, well, there's nothing to back that up. And he's always said that he's never been a part of Project 2025. And now this man literally said, hey, Russ Vogt, the creator of Project 2020-25, he's going to be a part of this now.
Yep.
I hope y'all eat dirt. Ah,
How because like my philosophy is the only way we can live day by day is to have some positive thinking, but man, when I see the headlines every day, it's like, shit, what if we're fucked and we never come back from this?
we can't go back. There's no going back. You cannot go back to before this. You cannot change what is happening. You can't change the fact that people's racism is now given steroids at this point. There's no erasing the things that we've seen and the things that are happening. And we just got to adjust that there's a new America here. And as the Fourth Reich rises, who's going to come out on the other side?
All the people that stayed home, during the 2024 election. We have midterms coming up next year. You have seen what's happened. If you don't like what has happened, public service announcement, every vote matters. Your voice is important. Let's All I can say is we got 2026. And I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that if, say, the Democrats get a big win in Congress in 2026, that even though, yes, like the big, beautiful bill, all that stuff, like all the effects are going to like really hit after the midterm elections. Do you think, say, we have a Democratic led Congress after November 2026, that we can turn things around? Or is it just going to be the kind of presidency where Trump is just going to executive order the shit out of things, avoid judges, and the Congress won't even matter? Because like the Republican Congress right now, like even though they are on his side, he's just saying fuck it. Like New York City, 2 billion in railroad funding, whatever. Going to sidestep that. That's been appropriated by Congress. I don't give a fuck. I hate New York City. They're liberals. So I don't know. Like what would be the value of Congress if it was Democratic led?
If Mike Johnson keeps giving away the power of Congress, it won't matter.
Mm.
But fingers crossed, there will be just a landslide change of what's happening. And for anybody who's confused about this government shutdown, don't listen to when they say it's the Democrats who are causing it. The Republicans control everything. They could end this without a Democratic vote at all. They don't need it, but they're just pushing it on the Democrats because they want it to be it's their fault. It's their fault that this is happening. Thank goodness most of the country is waking up and seeing that that's not the case, but don't believe a word of it. They could change this tomorrow. But Mike Johnson said, how about everybody take 3 weeks of vacation and still get paid while the government is shut down?
So I was confused about that argument in terms of like, the Republicans could end it all because I don't know, my limited knowledge of government shutdowns, whichever party is in power, I've always been told like through news sources that like, oh, even if one party is in power, the opposite party, you still need to have a few votes of that opposite party in the Senate in order to have shit pass through. But you're saying that's all bullshit.
It is bullshit. Now, it would be that if this was a resolution that was changing things. But if Republicans want to keep the same, now you'll hear the term a lot, CR. A clean CR means the same continuing funding resolution that was used before is going to be used again. You do not need 60 plus votes to pass it. All you need is a simple majority, which the Republicans have. So if there were changes to it, so let's say that they were giving $1 billion to Medicaid. And the Republicans said, no, we only want to give 500,000 to Medicaid. That would no longer be a clean CR because you've changed the funding from one thing to another. But the Republicans have said this is a clean CR. They don't want to change anything. So since they don't want to change anything, they just need a majority vote, which they have. They have the ability to pass this on their own, but their bill is not a clean CR. They're not telling everybody that they've changed things. One of the things are the ACA subsidies. So if you get your health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, that could be Obamacare, any kind of Medicaid, anything that is from the government for your health insurance, the subsidies are going to expire. That means that little credit you get to pay for your health insurance, which for some people is a lot of money, is going to go away. The bill that is this CR that the Republicans are putting forward does not extend those actual benefits that you get. So since the benefits are not being extended, it's not a clean CR. You're letting something go away that was funded in the past. That's why they say they need Democrats. But if they were to not do that, they wouldn't need Democrats to pass it.
Mm. Well. Well, we have government websites, supposedly nonpartisan websites, that are saying that this is a Democrat-led shutdown. So that is something that we also have never seen before.
Because it's illegal.
Yeah, but in the Trump world, illegal means fun. Illegal means it's okay. All right. Well, we'll keep it. We'll keep ourselves posted as much as we can on the war on American cities from the American president, the government shutdown, all that good stuff. Thank you, AJ, for that update from your menu. All right. Somewhat related, but on a lighter note, my menu item, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny has had quite the press coverage the past week or so. Now I got to admit, when he was announced as the host for the SNL 51 premiere, I was like, again? I literally just saw him last episode, the season 50 finale. He was the musical guest, and then he was hosting musical guests as recently as 2023. I mean, Bad Bunny has been a reoccurring presence on SNL. And then, like a few days after that announcement, he gets announced as the Super Bowl halftime performer, and that's like, whoa, that's gold. So going into last Saturday, you had this heat on Bad Bunny halftime show, the MAGA backlash, everything. Like he's literally next to Taylor Swift, one of the most talked about artists in the world right now. Um, Now you are not familiar with him before all this came out. You're not familiar with his music or what he did.
I've listened to like a song or two, but I've never really been like in depth into Bad Bunny. And now I'm like, oh, you're a cutie and you've got some good music. I like it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember listening to a podcast few years ago. I forgot what the name of it was, but they were doing like a Bad Bunny deep dive. And yeah, I just heard the hosts talking about Benito, like they wanted to just eat him up like ice cream. So, yep, Bad Bunny, a sex symbol for sure. Hey, for you listening and watching, if you don't know, I mean, Bad Bunny, he's a Puerto Rican rapper and record producer. He's been dubbed the king of Latin trap. He's been credited with helping Spanish language rap music achieve mainstream popularity. He rose to prominence back in 2016 with his song Soy Pior, SOY, different word, Peor. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I forgot about this. Cardi B's big, probably first big hit, "I Like It" from her Invasion of Privacy album. Bad Bunny was featured on that song back in 2018. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Bad Bunny and J Balvin. I totally forgot about that.
Why did I think that was a Bruno Mars song? Oh my God.
Easy to believe that. But yeah, no, that was number one on the Billboard Hot 100. You know, we remember where we were when that Cardi B song was really big. Yeah, he did that song with Drake called Mia. The debut studio album of Bad Bunny, X 100 Prey, peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200. His second solo album became the highest charting all Spanish album to appear on the Billboard 200. His 2020 album El Ultimito Tour del Mundo became the first all Spanish language album to top the Billboard 200. So clearly he's making Billboard 200 or Billboard 200 records like nobody's business. Fourth solo album was named the best performing album of the year and became the first Spanish language album to be nominated for the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. That from 2022, that album is called Un Verano Sin Ti. Yeah, I mean, this guy has got 3 Grammy Awards, 11 Latin Grammys, 8 Billboard Music Awards, 13 Lo Nuestro Awards. Billboard named him Artist of the Year in 2022. He was the most streamed artist on Spotify from 2020 to 2022. Do you keep up with wrestling?
I do.
There you go. I did not know. He made some WWE appearances. WrestleMania 37, he was there. He was a one-time WWE 24/7 champion. Do you remember seeing him at all?
I never watched it, but I knew he was on WWE multiple times. He hit somebody with a chair that I was so happy about.
I mean, that's a rite of passage on the WWE. If you hit someone with a chair, you officially made it. But yeah, no, you've seen him in pay-per-view events back in 2023. You've seen him on the 2022 Royal Rumble, and he's also an actor. I mean, he has recently made an appearance on Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore 2. He was in Bullet Train, Cassandra, Caught Stealing. So yeah, Bad Bunny, singer, actor, just a great sensation, a great talent. And I think you had said that you were watching the SNL season 51 premiere. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not watch it yet, but I watched a clip with Bad Bunny in his opening, and I was like, okay, I'm sold on this man now. He is so perfect.
Yeah, he was wonderful. So as far as the episode in general, wasn't the funniest, and that's normal by SNL standards. They are known for being very uneven, especially coming back from like a 3 or 4 month break. The season premieres usually tend to be pretty rough around the edges. But I will commend Bad Bunny. I mean, that guy is down for fun, down for anything. And if you notice, the hosts that keep coming back on SNL, the secret is that they don't take themselves too seriously, and they're just down to have fun. They're down to perform whatever the writers give them. So I will commend Bad Bunny on that. There was a cold open that the audience wasn't as vocal as I thought they might be, because it's like, oh my god, SNL season premiere cold open. I mean, it was the cold open where Weekend Update anchor Colin Jost played Pete Hegseth, and this was the fat shaming speech that Pete Hegseth gave to the generals. Yes, yes.
That was actually very funny. Colin Jost sends me. And that was very funny to me. I was like, "You nailed Keg's breath so well."
Is that your nickname for him? What was it? Keg's breath?
Yes, Pete Keg's breath because he's always drunk.
Oh, well, that's not a surprise. I mean, you look at him, he looks like a stupid frat boy.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic that has a lot of problems, and I think nobody's addressing that, but, I mean, if you just listen to the news of it, I think he's also doing coke because 'cause they're saying he's getting super paranoid in the Pentagon.
There you go. You want to be in the Trump administration? Be the most toxic, problematic person ever. You got the job.
That's it.
Oh my god. Anyway, so and in that cold open, we had the reoccurring thing where James Austin Johnson, another cast member, his impersonation of Trump, he cuts in to interrupt the reality and just do his classic Trumpian rambling nonsense to catch us up on what Trump has been up to over the summer. Yeah, the audience wasn't as vocal, as laughy, as enthusiastic about that, probably because we've seen a lot of these cold opens, and also at a certain point, the reality is depressing. So when you
Yeah.
see it in when you unfortunately when you see it in comedic satire form, sometimes you're just like, oh my god, this is our world now.
The part that I think is hurting Saturday Night Live when it comes to the political satire is the entire political sphere right now feels like a Saturday Night Live skit that is not ending.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's a joke and what's actually real because it's so absurd. You're like, no way. This has to be a joke. And it's not.
Yeah, whereas before Trump, there was a sense of decorum, a sense of boredom, and the amusing nuggets that maybe you would find from George W. Bush, like they seemed so few and far between and sort of muted that to make comedy out of it, it just became this heightened, enjoyable experience. But with Trump, I mean, my God, it's just stimuli after stimuli of holy shit, this is insane. So to see it reenacted in a sketch, it's just like, oh, I feel like I've already seen this sketch before.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like me, I find myself laughing at the press conferences and everything, and they're not even telling jokes on purpose. It's just the reality of what they're saying. And so, Saturday Night Live, if you guys want to do it and keep doing it, you've got to make it so absurd that it's funny and we know it's a joke. Like that, instead of it being Pete Keg's breath in front of the generals, it should have been a squirrel in front of a bunch of other squirrels talking about taking over the world. That would have been way better than having the actual people.
I could advocate for that. Going back to your point about Bad Bunny's monologue, I loved he acknowledged the MAGA backlash to him hosting the halftime show, because what he did was throw to a clip of a bunch of Fox News hosts saying individual words, and when it's spliced together, it makes it seem like they're supporting Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. So it's great. I wouldn't say it's like the most laugh out loud thing, but I thought it was a much needed satire of what's happening right now.
I thought that was so hilarious because I love when people do that and they take one word from each
Mm-hmm.
person. And I was like,
Bad,
yes, that's
yeah.
the news.
Bad Bunny is a great American. Yeah, just that robotic AI shit. I love that.
It was so good. That was just delicious. And I can't believe how many of y'all did not know that Puerto Rico is a part of the United States.
Yeah,
Like that threw me for a loop. I was like, do this many people really not know that Puerto Rico is a part of the United States of America? How do y'all not know this?
I feel like some of these ignorant people know, but because it's Spanish speaking people, they just want to deny that. So, yeah, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Bad Bunny is an American. So for all of you people saying that an un-American is at this American event, you are totally wrong.
Yes, you're completely wrong.
God.
I just love that he subtly acknowledged that. Like, I'm American. You guys are just missing that fact for some reason.
Yeah, just because I sing Spanish in my songs, like, no, like Puerto Rico is part of the US, so shut the fuck up. Anyway, so once again, I mean, anytime Bad Bunny appears on SNL, like you can rely that he's going to have a lot of sketch collaborations with Latino cast member Marcelo Hernandez. And like the first or the first or second time, I'm fine with it. After a while, I start to wonder, is this like Bad Bunny and Marcelo genuinely like being close, being friendly, sharing their Latino heritage and wanting to collaborate on all these things? Or is it more so SNL writers and producers who may not be Latino who are just like, hey, this is a way we can come off as very inclusive and diverse. The two Latinos on the whole staff for the show that week, guys, do something. Be in 5 sketches together. So I don't know. That's what I have mixed feelings about. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
I don't think you're thinking too much into it because it's something that I've always wondered too. I've noticed whenever they have a special guest who it like it could be a black special guest, it could be a Latino special guest, a special guest. I've noticed they always group them with the other members of the cast who are of the same race.
Yeah.
And I just always wondered, I'm like, is this something that y'all genuinely just have a connectivity over? Or is it like, okay, this is super awkward, but we're just going to put all the white people together, the black people together, and the Latino people together?
Yeah.
Because it's
Quinta
just
Brunson.
always throwing.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary, when she hosted, all of a sudden you saw her and Keenan Thompson in like every sketch together. Keenan, one of the few black cast members, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Do Quinta and Keenan have a really close friendship and Keenan just got lucky? Or did Lorne Michaels, the executive producer, creator extraordinaire of SNL, did he just say, hey, this is what will look good on television? I don't know.
Yeah, it makes me. I'm even thinking when John Cena was on,
Oh,
he did a majority of his sketches with the white cast members. And I think there
oh.
was only one sketch with black cast members in it.
Jeez. SNL, you are on watch. Holy shit. Segregating John Cena from the black people? That's not great. Because I'm sure John Cena has a lot of black fans who would have loved to see him with black cast members. No?
He does. But I'm
Okay.
just going to say this, y'all. If you get a chance, watch Peacemaker Season 2. Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 6 is phenomenal. And it addresses a lot of black and white stereotypes all in one episode with John Cena. And it's phenomenal.
All right. I got to put that on my list. As far as the SNL season premiere, I mean, it was a great showcase for the new cast members that came in. I mean, literally the very first face that you saw in the entire episode in the beginning of the cold open was Jeremy Colhane introducing Colin as Pete Hegseth. Veronica S. I cannot say her last name because it is very hard to pronounce. I apologize. I did not have a chance to look up the pronunciation. She shows up in that oddly regular Jeopardy sketch. I say that because whenever SNL has done Jeopardy sketches, it's usually like Celebrity Jeopardy, and then maybe you have like Will Ferrell playing Alex Trebek, or ever since Will Ferrell left the show, lately you've had Black Jeopardy, where Keenan Thompson is the host of Jeopardy. But yeah, this was just a regular dull Jeopardy sketch with Andrew Dismukes, a white cast member, as the host of Jeopardy, and it was really odd. But Cam Patterson, comedian Cam Patterson, I thought he had a solid weekend update routine about dancing around the use of saying the N-word on live TV. He is a black man. And that played off all the speculation of whether he was going to bring whatever he did on, say, the Kill Tony podcast to the show. You are familiar with Tony Hinchcliffe, Kill Tony, that whole thing,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I mean, silver lining, you guys. You guys know I hate Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn. I hate all of them. I think they're the worst people in existence. But
Side
now
note.
they've gone on this apology campaign. Go ahead.
Oh, real? Oh, wait, hold on. Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz and Theo Vaughn are apologizing for what? For voting for Trump?
They're apologizing for voting for Trump, and they're like, "We can't believe that this happened. This isn't what we wanted," and they're so ashamed. And now Theo Vaughn has had multiple things canceled on him, and he's like, "People are only going to remember me for Trump." Yes, you stupid bitch. People are only going to remember you for that because that's who you are inside. And I'm happy that they're finally trying to understand what's happening to them.
Two thoughts that don't relate to each other. The first thought, bouncing off your point. Um, to anybody who has voted for Trump in 2024, knowing what we've known about him past 10 years, past 50 years, for you to have the audacity to be like, oh my God, for the record, I don't like what's going on. I can't believe what's going on. Fuck you. I have no sympathy for you. You've had the evidence there. You just decide not to see it. That's one point. Number two, did you see Theo Vaughn went viral because he got like shot down by the ESPN reporter? Did you see that clip?
Yeah. Oh, well, it was so good.
Oh man, I don't know what if the fuck Theo Vaughn was doing, but he was at some like big crowded outside event with an ESPN reporter, and at the end of the interview, Theo Vaughn was like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you. I'm going to see you again, right?" And the ESPN reporter, without missing a beat, I hope not.
So that had him in tears over the weekend
Oh
because he's
really?
like, I don't understand why people don't want to associate with me. And someone had to break it down to him. The reason why is because of what you've done and said in the past. People don't forget that. We get that you're a podcaster, but you work on a live stream network and you work where people see the rough and hot takes 24/7. So this is what we believe who you are because this is all you've shown us. And this is going to be what is attached to your name forever now. And same thing with Andrew Schultz. It's attached to them, and they thought that this was just going to be one segment of their life, like a segment of their shows, and people are not letting it go.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. Theo Vaughn, hopefully you learned your lesson and hopefully you'll be able to dress more maturely. Cause I think he like, isn't he like, he's like 40 something years old and he like dresses like some kind of 15-year-old mullet white boy in a trailer park.
This whole time, people had to tell me that Theo Vaughn is not the boy from Home Improvement. I thought he was the boy from Home Improvement, just grown up, and they were like, "No, that's not it." And then I was like, "Okay, he's probably like some 20-year-old." And someone told me he's 40, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I I, I have no sympathy for you now. You're 40 years old, and this is what you did."
Very, very, very incel energy that he's giving right now with the way he presents himself. Okay. So Cam Patterson, yeah, he was great. The only thing that I've heard of him prior to SNL, Dana Carvey and David Spade, former SNL cast members, they do a podcast called Fly on the Wall. They were playing a clip of Cam Patterson's stand-up routine, I believe, on the Kill Tony podcast. And, the routine did come off transphobic. And of course, being associated with Tony Hinchcliffe, we all know what happened with that infamous Hitler-esque Madison Square Garden rally where Tony Hinchcliffe said Puerto Ricans were trash. So yes, understandable hesitations toward Cam Patterson, but hey, he seemed to have a lot of charisma around, playing around with, oh, should I say the N word on live television, blah, blah, blah. So I will just take his SNL appearance at face value and hope that he doesn't bring toxic anti-human rights controversy with him. I'm just hoping because SNL is pretty mainstream. We don't want that.
You never know. I think that he's a disgrace of a human being, just
Oh,
where I'm just gonna stand at.
oh, you
Because
know him.
if you support those types of environments and you stay in that type of environment after the transphobic things that they said, because I'm not gonna say that they were hinting at transphobia. They were transphobic and disgusting individuals to say any of that shit from the beginning. I cannot support you. And especially if you're somebody who is of a color. I'm not even going to say just a black person. You are not somebody in this society who would be considered the majority. You're attacking some of the lowest people in standing and then expecting me to stand by you. You better go ahead and jump off the boat. I don't got
Yeah.
nothing for you.
Understandable. Very understandable. Doja Cat was the musical guest, and I'm surprised that this was her very first SNL appearance because Doja Cat has been big in music since like 2019, maybe 2018. I will need to watch her performances on YouTube because I was watching SNL live on Peacock on Saturday night at a volume that wasn't like good enough for me to hear things very well. It
Mhm.
was the kind of volume where you have your wife sleeping next to you and you want to make sure that you're not disturbing her too much. So like subtitles are great, but when you're trying to listen to music, subtitles don't even matter. So Doja Cat, I will try to listen to your performances again on YouTube. Her performances were visually stunning though. Like I loved the first song where she had like the yellow hair, the horror-esque dominatrix outfit. Great. The second performance, she was sitting on this giant rose. It was kind of reminding me of like something that you might see from Nicki Minaj or Cardi B in their live performances. Very fitting because of course they're having their wonderful feud right now. But yes, you shake your head as you should because um Cardi had the opportunity to not take the bait, and anything something I know about Cardi is when you poke that hole, she will go full force. So she is they're going at it. I mean, I think they're going after their kids. They're going after sexual assault things. Like it's insane.
It's insane. Nicki Minaj, you're a grown woman.
Yeah.
You are Nicki Minaj. And this is even me taking a side here. Nikki, you could have just shut up and been rich. Like,
Yeah.
she started all of this for no reason. I'm not gonna say she started for no reason. She started this because she wants to go after Beyonce, but she knows not to say Beyonce's name. Because if she says Beyonce's name, the Beehive is about to tear her a new one. And that's the only reason why she has not said Beyonce yet. But if you're going to be angry at someone, focus your anger where you know it is. Because your problem with Cardi isn't your problem with Cardi, because it's nothing about sexual offense because you married a sexual predator, sweetheart. And it's got nothing to do with children because you have a child. And it has nothing to do with drugs because you have openly said you love Percocet. So what is the real issue, Nikki?
Now, when you say she's going after Beyonce, meaning that she wants to go after Beyonce's stature, like as like a really, really popular female person of color artist, is that what you mean?
And that's what she wants. She wants to go after everything Beyonce has. All of her rants about Rock Nation, you notice she's never called anybody out specifically, but she's just hinted at little things that her and Beyonce have done. Now there's this whole picture thread of saying that Beyonce was copying her, and it's just gotten more wildfire to it. And it's like, Nicki, you are Nicki Minaj. Either you're going broke, which I think is what could be happening, and you need some money, or you have yet to go to therapy and realize that you are more than enough. You are
She
more
has a
than enough.
right. She has, and yeah, I hope she knows that, but who knows if she'll ever know that. She has a toxically competitive slash old school mentality where she seems to think there can only be one female in the game. And we are way past that. We've clearly seen that there's space for plenty of females in the music space, in the rap music space, whatever you want to call it. So it's just very sad that she just doesn't have the perspective of there's room for everybody. Life is short. There you go. You
That's all I want her to realize. I'm going to keep saying it. You are Nicki Minaj.
have nothing to prove.
You have nothing to prove. You are Nicki Minaj, girl. Just have fun and enjoy being rich.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think there is that thing that like really ambitious people have, some where they spend so much time reaching that goal and then they reach it and they don't know what to do with themselves. And they feel like shit, like I got to do something to stimulate myself and to feel relevant, to keep people paying attention to me. And that's something that we have to change. Ambitious people, especially rich people. Have you ever heard of a billionaire that's just like, hey, I'm good, no more? Like, there's always that strive, there's always that drive for more and more and more. It's a drug. And I just want us to practice contentment.
That's it. That's it. I, I am 100% with you. I just want you to understand you're amazing. And Cardi, you're lucky you didn't get charged for assault for throwing that marker at that man on the courthouse steps. Let's just take our wins and go our separate ways. That's all I need y'all to do.
Yeah. How long have they been beefing? Like for like, over a decade, maybe?
When did the Vanity Fair thing happen with the shoe? I want to say that was maybe 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much since Cardi got into the game back in like 2017, 2018, they've just been at it. So
Yeah.
and Cardi, it seemed like for the most part up until now, she's been doing a good job of just like staying clear. But Nicki hit a soft spot, and now they are going at it on these Twitter rants. So anyway, sorry, we divulged. We just I had to have an excuse to talk about Cardi and Nicki at some point, because Doja Cat, Cardi and Nicki, she gave off that kind of vibe in her SNL performance. But in conclusion, I will say, for Bad Bunny, I'm so excited for your halftime show, and me not being as knowledgeable or a fan of your music, I want to get more into your music. I'm hoping that the halftime show will get me more into it. First reaction when I heard he was the halftime show, I was just like, oh God, the way these MAGA people are gonna get so mad. It just brought a joy in my heart like nobody's business. Because football, this is where a lot of these people live. And you have a Spanish speaking native prideful Puerto Rican. He is known for speaking nothing but Spanish in his music. I don't know if he has an English song whatsoever. He's going to take up 15 minutes of very valuable mass appeal real estate. Like 100 million people watch this fucking thing. And the fact that, I mean, I don't know. Are you going to keep track of X and the tweets that'll come by the moment Bad Bunny steps on stage in 2026? I mean, I think that MAGA's going to go wild.
I hope at Bunny you do that full performance in Spanish. I don't want to hear a single English word the entire time. I'm gonna be in my apartment shaking my ass because that music is good. Now that I've been listening to it, his music, he's got some bops that you can
Good.
just dance to. I don't even know Spanish, so some of them I'm like trying to read the translation. Others, I'm just like, I don't care. The music is good. The music is very good. It does tickle my fancy to see the MAGAs upset and angry. And then what was her name? Was it no Pam Bondi saying that they're gonna send ICE to the performance? Where I'm just like, what? So y'all just gonna send ICE because he's performing? What you think an influx of Spanish speaking people are going to be able to afford to go to the Super Bowl? Have y'all not realized the Bowl is expensive whether you're in the nosebleeds or on the field? So that's not going to change the demographic of people who can pay to go. And then the other side of it, you know how the MAGAs always say, well, if you don't like something, you just don't have to go to it. You can just turn the channel during the performance.
There you go.
It's one of the easiest things in the world to do. Just boop.
Yeah. The Super Bowl is, even though it's this thing that's massively watched by everybody, there are going to be always things in it, especially the commercials, that's not going to hit everybody the same way. So, I mean, we saw that last year with Kendrick. Clearly, Kendrick Lamar, not for the MAGAs. And yet he soared, he survived. We're all good. Nothing has been torn down. Same thing will go for Bad Bunny. So I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait. Now, on Pam Bondi, I thought it was Christy Noam that said that ICE agents will be at the Super Bowl, but Pam Bondi also said that.
They're interchangeable demons. So one of them probably said it and the other said it afterwards.
Can we have like a Charmed Vampire Diaries interchangeable demons show featuring Christy Noam and Pam Bondi as the leads, like just them being evil witches?
That would be so perfect.
Oh God, it would be great. Yeah, not necessary to have ICE agents at the Super Bowl when again Puerto Rico is part of the US. So what are we talking about?
I that still throws me. Like they what's her Tommy Lauren, whatever that girl's name is. She's supposedly some kind of like news cast or whatever. She had somebody on who was like, Bad Bunny is a great American artist. And she's like, he's not American, he's Puerto Rican. And the person who's there, she's like, that's a part of America. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, well, and it's like, girl, no, this is a
Yep.
part of America. You can't say that he's some foreigner who came here. That doesn't
Yep.
make sense.
I saw that same clip too. It's so hilarious how she was shut down like that. All right, something to look forward to in 2026. The possibility of the midterms going our way, Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. It's all going to be great. Let's put the positive vibes in the air. Let's wrap up with our pop culture samplers. We want to wrap up with recommendations that we think you should try going into, I don't know, next week. You want to start with yours?
Yes. So I know in text we talked about possibly Monster being my sampler. I'm going to give you guys a quick 10-second thing on Monster. I do not suggest that you watch it if you are not comfortable with necrophilia, pedophilia, and other things that are terrible when it comes to children and dead bodies. Um,
You're
this
talking
was a
about
hard,
so you're talking about the Ed Gein story.
yes, this was a very hard season. I'm not going to suggest that you watch it. When you watch it, John, and we have a chance to talk about it, there's a lot that we can delve into, but that's not going to be the thing where I say, go out and watch it. Because you're not going to feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel good afterwards. And the people who are falling into the romanticism of Ed Gein throughout this, you need to go talk to somebody. And that's not me trying to be funny. You need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah. That's the conflicting thing with Ryan Murphy shows. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back because Ryan Murphy, he's made 911, Nip Tuck, Glee. He's made plenty of shows that don't delve into real life stuff like that. When Ryan Murphy does the monster of it all with Jeffrey Dahmer, with the Menendez brothers, it's fascinating. It gets my attention. I'm fascinated. I'm watching. My wife is watching. It's just basic guilty pleasure, but you also have to ask yourself, what is the real life end result of it? Because we know what happened when Jeffrey Dahmer came out. I mean, God, like all the people, being like, all right, it's going to be okay to dress up like him on Halloween. And it's like, you do realize that this person took advantage of the vulnerability of the Black queer community he ate people, he ate human beings, and you're making a Halloween costume out of that.
Yeah.
So the Ed Gein story, you're describing it to me, necrophilia, pedophilia, awful stuff. And I guess what I was laughing at earlier was the fact that in the same breath you said, I suggest you don't watch it. And then you were telling me, John, when you watch it, because you know me so well, you know that, at the end of the day, like I'm going to want to watch it because unfortunately I'm a part of that American dynamic where I have fascination with the serial killers, sometimes more than the victims. It's just because it's unlike they're obviously unlike any average walking human being in real life. So when you give me like this sort of fictional docuseries perspective and it's produced by Ryan Murphy, it's like, okay, I'm there. And I've never heard the story of Ed Gein. Is that how you
Mhm.
pronounce it?
Ed Gein.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would suggest that if you have a chance before you watch it, go read about him.
Mm.
Go read the well documented history of his life and the things that he did and the things that he perpetrated that would really, because of this being a television show that had to find its way to Netflix, they can't show and talk about everything that that man did, especially in the detail that he did it in. And because they don't have that ability to do that, it really paints a different picture of this man than what he truly was.
Mm.
And I think it's important that you know who and what he did before you see a very stylized version of it. And that's where I've had my problem with Monster. Before you get into this very stylized and, dare I say, sanitized version, even though it's still creepy, even though we still see that this person has done some abhorrent things, you need to actually go look and read at the actual things that this person did. So you have an understanding that while they're going to show you this emotional aspect to these people's lives, you need to know exactly what they did. So that way you don't fall into that trap of, oh, I can dress up for them as Halloween, or maybe we should have some sympathy for this person. Ed Gein is not somebody you should have sympathy for at all. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that. We get a hint at some possible upcoming series of monsters that they may be doing with some more depraved people. I don't know. This one threw me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie. This one threw me for a loop. I was very disturbed by it. And then there are some references that we get to pop culture that are going on and have been going on for years throughout it that may be a little hard for you to understand if you are not familiar with what they're referencing. And it's important that you know what they're referencing to understand the full story.
Some people couldn't get through Dahmer because of the goriness of the eating scenes, tearing body parts apart. Are you saying that Ed Gein is worse, is more disturbing than Dahmer?
As far as gore that you see throughout the show, no.
Okay.
Um, I would say the things afterwards. So there's some things that Ed Gein did, like making furniture and eating, that are hinted at. But the furniture we see, and it doesn't look as disturbing as it does in the actual crime scene photos. You get a very, again, sanitized version of what this stuff looks like. And while the gore aspect of it isn't the main focus, it's the implication that Ed Gein was just a normal person who just saw a little too much of the underbelly of society, and that's what drove him here. And that's the message that I've noticed people have been getting caught up on online in their discussion about it. And I really want people to look into it and say, hang on, he saw some photos, but that's not what made him do these things. They were just a way for him to say that somebody else is doing it and it's okay. But that's not the reason that we got here. We need to look at the fact that this man enjoyed what he was doing.
Gotcha. All right. So anti sampler on your end. You're
Yes.
you're suggesting that people don't see this.
Again, if you are not prepared to handle these very specific topics, and there's a lot in there, you should not watch this. It's not for everybody. I get that you may like gore, you may like some horror things. This is not for everybody because you have to have the mind to understand what is happening in this show to not get swept up in the emotion of, oh, he was just a man just trying to live his life. That's not what this is. No. So I'm not going to recommend you watch it. I'm going to recommend you go watch the new season of Digimon because that is phenomenal.
So, God, what is the history of Digimon? Because I remember watching it as a kid. It was on Fox Kids Saturday morning. I always thought of it as like the poor person's Pokemon. Am I accurate on that? No.
No.
Because it's like no, because my stupid kid brain was like, oh, Pokemon, Digimon. They both have mons at the end. So maybe if you don't like Pokemon, you just go to Digimon.
So you're not the only person who thinks that way. Especially in our age group, I'm pretty sure when you saw Digimon, it came on Fox Kids, which
Correct.
was
Yeah.
like the free station if you couldn't have cable. And
Right.
of course, Pokemon was on cable.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at it like, oh, well, Fox Kids was like the free Pokemon. No, Digimon and Pokemon existed at the exact same time as far as mangas and animes. Digimon is a digital world of monsters that are helping the Digidestin, who are a specific set of children, save the world. Pokemon is a real life thing where you're just any single person in the world who can inhabit and work with Pokemon in whatever capacity you choose to. Digimon, I think, is far more adult oriented than Pokemon is. Pokemon would be like the kid friendly version of a monster television show. Digimon is like, okay, it's kids, but people die. People really get hurt. The world gets destroyed. And these things exist in the sphere.
I remember the theme song, Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon, brah, 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 brah. Do they still have the song or did they update it?
So that was an American only song.
Oh,
The original Digimon song was nothing like that. It was this heavy rock metal soundtrack. Ooh, I forgot the name of the group. They're a Japanese heavy metal band who
yeah.
actually did the music, and it was pretty good. But damn, Digimon is so good, y'all. It's so good.
So what's the broadcast history? Have they been just consecutively on the air since like, I don't know, late 90s, 2000s, or did they like have an original run and then they came back for a remake? Like what's the whole history of that?
So Digimon has, I think, 6 or 7 seasons
Right.
from the first series. So the first series where we saw the original Digidestin is how everything begins in the manga and comic books. And then we had Digimon Ghost Game, Digimon Hunters, XROS, Digidestined, then the Digimon movies, and they were all just like different aspects of the story. And now this new season of Digimon is a retelling of the original season of Digimon that we all got on Fox Kids, but it follows the manga much more closely. And season 2 is now that second step. So if you have watched Digimon and you remember at the end of the original Digimon when the Digidestin fought Apocalypse with all their Digimon and then TK and Kari, who have Light and Hope as their characters, go on to the new group of Digidestined. That's where we're at in this new season. So this new season follows the new group of Digidestined and their Digimon as they try to save the world.
I love that. And where can we watch it?
This you can watch if you have Crunchyroll. You can watch it there. If you have, I think it's Anime Plus, it's there. And also Disney Plus, which we're starting to boycott, y'all. But if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it there.
Jimmy Kimmel's back. We're still boycotting Disney. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they're like, yeah, we brought Kimmel back. But you know what they also did? They took their streaming price from $7 or $11 a month to $19 a month. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They're like, bitch, y'all left us in droves. You come back. All right. Well, we lost all this money. Give us this money back and then some.
Exactly. That is what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, Disney, y'all are dirty.
Dirty Disney. Great nickname or great merch for a t-shirt. Dirty Disney, because God, their corporate greed. They know no limits. God. And unfortunately, I think that's a Pornhub category as well. Dirty Disney. I'm sure in the deep recesses of the internet, you will find unfortunately Disney characters being pornographified.
It would not surprise me because as soon as you said dirty Disney, I thought of Snow White and the Seven Doors.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, we could go on and on about that, but we shall not because we want to purify the minds of the Disney people listening and watching this. All right, my sampler, Love Is Blind season 9. As we are recording this on Monday the 6th, I think only 6 episodes have came out.
Yep. The next
Okay.
episode is on the 8th, so Wednesday.
Okay. So by the time you guys all see this on Thursday, the 9th, you'll see the newest episode. I've only seen the very first episode with my wife, Tony. And it's just one of our comfort watches that we like to return to year after year, or maybe multiple times a year, because it seems like they have like what, 2 or 3 seasons in a year sometimes?
In different regions, different countries, they have multiple seasons in a year.
There you go. They're in Denver this season. Tony and I went to Denver for my friend's wedding back in 2024 around Memorial Day weekend. I was a groomsman at his wedding. What I remember of it, I think it's a pretty dry climate, pretty flat land, kind of boring, but we'll see if Love Is Blind people will make the most out of their time in Denver. And all I have gotten so far from the first episode, we have Asians who don't know the person they're talking to is also an Asian. We have a woman who is obsessed with a terrible nickname, Sparkle Megan. It doesn't even
Sparkle
ring.
Megan.
Like, come, can we have like, Mooksho Megan or Mrs. Megan? I don't know, Sparkle Megan. It just doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't, but it works for her. Like, every time I see her now, I'm like, "Okay, Sparkle. Sparkle Megan." Like, I just can't get it out of my head.
Each guy she introduces herself. Oh, I'm Megan, but people call me Sparkle Megan. It's like, okay, put the script down. It's not as cool as you think it sounds.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And this whole cast, I have questions about all of y'all because I'm like, "Do we have therapy on staff for this group of people?"
But can you arguably say that for every Love Is Blind season? Like, there's always going to be like either an entire cast or a few people in the cast where it's like, oh, you need to spend some time with a therapist.
That is true. There is seasons where I've been like, okay, a few different people could really benefit from some onset therapy. This time, it's the whole entire cast, y'all. Every single one of them. I'm like, ooh, girl, let's talk about that.
I cannot wait. We also have a very well tattooed single dad who, my wife Tony, she understandably questions because she was like, wait, how does like a kid, like when someone is coming on this show and they have a kid, how does the kid play a role? Like, will the kid meet this partner or these partners? How does that affect the kid? I would think that they're probably not gonna show the kid on camera at all. Maybe there's, like, some rules over, like, exposing your child. Maybe the father doesn't want that to happen. W I don't know how I can ask you about this because I feel like you would spoil it for me, um but you're not gonna spoil it for me?
I won't spoil it for you. I'll just say, like, when it comes to TV productions like this, both parents have to consent to the child being on screen. If you're familiar with like any of the Real Housewives,
Yep.
some of the housewives who are divorced from their children's other parent have had to have those agreements through the
Mm,
courts that it's okay for the child to appear on screen. So
yep.
unless the father's uh, child's mother consents to the child being on screen, I doubt we'll see the child.
Got it. All right. Luca. Luca is the name of the child. Min, our our favorite Edmund with a very loud colored sock game. My God, this guy loves to wear socks that match his shirt. Yeah, no, he is a very charismatic guy, and when you get him talking about substitute teaching, he will give you that waterworks. We got that in the first episode, and he seems like a charismatic, well-intentioned guy. But you're telling me to watch out for Edmund.
Watch out for Edmund. KB, run for the hills. Um, I will tell everybody if you want to watch it without spoiling it for yourself. If you're like me, I like to Google like cast interviews and stuff. Don't go to any of the cast interviews online. This cast of Love Is Blind, they're not waiting for the reunion to talk about their experience. So don't Google it if you don't want the show spoiled for you. If you Google any of the cast stuff, it will get spoiled. I'm going to tell you that right now. But Edmund, that man is an eccentric person. And when he started crying on that first date, I was like, okay, I think we need to just slow down, Edmund. You're sweet. He's a goofy cornball. but I'm like, I don't want your heart to get broken. So you gotta slow it down, my boy.
Yeah. So the cast's basically spoiling the episodes that we haven't seen yet because of course they tape this in advance. Are they just so eager to talk about their experience? Are the show's producers being like, "Hey, this is a great way to like, get more people to watch the show." Have the cast been negatively affected by their experience and they really want to dish it out on social media? Like I'm wondering what is the whole thing behind them choosing to just talk about everything like well in advance of episodes being completed or
I think
ready for
I
air.
I think we're seeing the afterburn of Love Island. This most recent season of Love Island had so much drama in it that people just couldn't help talking about it before they even got to the reunion. And I think that's what's happening here because there's drama. There is
Yeah.
drama. This is probably the most dramatic after season of Love is Blind that I've ever seen. So the cast is talking. They're just like, okay, we're just going to talk about it. Forget the reunion. We are having full discussions and they're not holding back.
I'm here for it. I used to be that person that was like, nah, reality TV, it is just a terrible poison in our society. But I don't know, man. Something about them Netflix reality shows, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, I get it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all the drama.
I mean, I've auditioned for The Circle so many times. I get it. There's so much stuff that you're going to have fun with. And it doesn't help that the production, and I was telling you this is not a spoiler, but it doesn't help that the production is kind of feeding into some of the controversy that's happened over the seasons of Love is Blind. Two of the biggest things was some of the former cast members said they won't let you leave. And I'm not
Oh,
going to tell you what happens, but there is a discussion that happens on camera about that. And then
mm,
one of the other controversies was that production was not feeding the cast members. So
mhm.
as you watch, if you notice, especially in that first episode, there is food like positioned right in front of everybody, every shot the camera takes.
And they can't eat it.
Oh, they make sure they eat it. There's
Oh,
going to be a whole segment of them just eating.
so is this because the producers want them to look like skinny, conventionally attractive people? Like what, or just, or maybe if they're hungry and low energy, that just brings out a sort of irritable energy in them that would produce great television drama. Huh?
Well, two of the things that you just brought up are what the cast talked about in previous seasons. They're like, well, if everybody's hungry, then of course we're going to get angry and annoyed. And
Yeah,
then the other side of it is, well, we got to look good on camera and they don't want people just piling on the pounds because you're
yeah.
not really doing much activity. You have the pods, you have your separate room, and you have the big spaces where the men and women meet. So you're
Mhm.
not really getting a chance to be active or exercising. So if they're constantly just pushing food and liquor down these people's throat, they're going to gain weight. So the things behind what people have said, they're like, well, it's either to make us angry, so there's more drama, or they don't want us getting fat. And after like a 12-hour day of filming, you're going to be hungry. So people were complaining there's no food. And now they're like, look, we have s'mores you can make. Here's some stuff for salads. John, I'm telling you, rewatch the first episode and then watch every episode after. You'll notice they have food like positioned right by the people on the camera. So at any moment they can reach over and take a bite of something.
Oh my god! And Tony was looking. We were kind of curious as to what the pay is, what the appearance fee is for the cast members. Is it still shitty? Because I think from like a past season, she got information that they were only being paid like $1,000 a week.
Yeah, it's still shitty. It's about $1,000 a week for every cast member,
Yeah,
unless you're somebody very specific. So, like you've been on a different show, you probably get a little bit more, but it's still about $1,000.
made more than that with DoorDash. That's kind
I
of
know,
sad.
I know, but this is what reality TV does. They exploit these people with
Yep.
the smallest amount of money possible, and in their contract, they make sure they don't get royalties.
Oh yeah, reality TV. What a beautiful, beautiful institution. And my last note, the first couple that got engaged, I thought it was very cute and funny that the Russian guy. Look, maybe the second episode will change things, but before the reveal between the Russian guy and the girl that he chose, he had his glasses over his head. He just was like, I don't know, maybe she won't like me with my glasses on. I'm just going to put it over my head and maybe she'll see my sexy eyes because the eyes are the window to the soul. And, but no, me and Tony were just like, no, this is you. The glasses are you. Just put the glasses on.
When he started walking down the hallway and he had to squint so hard that he was bent over, I'm like, bro, put the glasses on. Just put them on. I'm like, she's gonna see them on top of your hair. Put
Yeah.
the glasses on.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, I sympathize with him. Like, okay, you're meeting your fiance for the first time. You get self conscious about your appearance, blah blah blah. But I mean, and it would be one thing if if these were like fashion glasses, but if they're prescription glasses, like you want to be able to see your woman in full view. So just put them on.
Yeah, just put them on. And the funny thing is, if you notice when they're walking down the hallway towards each other, she's staring at the glasses on top of his head. Like
Oh,
you see her literally like, what is that?
four eyes. Put them back on now. So I'm very excited for the second episode to see how that turns out, and that's about it. Yeah. So Love is Blind, Digimon. Get those pop culture samplers in your belly for the next week until our next episode. If you want to listen to the Delicious Culture, we are everywhere you get your audio podcasts: Apple, Spotify, SiriusXM, Amazon, wherever. If you want to watch us on video, you can do so on Spotify and YouTube. Like, comment, share. Email us at thedeliciousculture@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, Reddit, YouTube at The Delicious Culture. Again, subscribe, comment, like, share. It would be great. TikTok, we are at no, actually, we are just at Delicious Culture on TikTok, at Delicious Culture. And AJ, what would you like to promote in terms of your content?
Just follow me on the YouTube and the TikTok as they are still usable at AJ Vandertunt. Every page that pops up that has Vandertunt in it is me.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Speaking of the TikTok and YouTube of it all, you'll notice that SNL had a K-pop Demon Hunter sketch, a Chat GPTO sketch. Chat GPTO is the Latino uncle version of Chat GPT. So, yeah, when I saw those two sketches the other night, I was like, someone's trying to get their TikTok and YouTube numbers up, trying to be hip with the young crowd.
I love that so much. I love it. And you guys stop trying to fit in with the young kids. Something that I've learned from TikTok, just be an old fart. The kids will still love you anyways.
TikTok rewards authenticity. I've seen the oldest person on TikTok with their, I don't know, taking care of their fucking chickens. I've seen young people doing dances. TikTok is very democratic in terms of age. So
Mhm.
all those people that are of a certain age that say it's not for them, it's like, no, no, just be your authentic self. You will be surprised pleasantly by how much of an audience you'll get because there's an audience for everybody.
There is. I've never felt this way about a social media platform, but TikTok is one of those places where there's something for everybody. If you're into watching chickens grow, there's chicken grow on TikTok. I just found out the other night that there is Sailor Moon TikTok, and I love Sailor Moon, and Sailor Moon TikTok fits me perfectly. Not only does it have me interacting with people who are new to it in their like early 20s, people as old as 50 are like, oh my God, I fucking love Sailor Moon. It's the best thing ever. And I hope they don't get rid of it. I hope it all falls through. But TikTok has space for everybody.
It does. It does. So, yay to TikTok having space for everybody. Yay to finding us at Delicious Culture on TikTok. Yay to that Sailor Moon TikTok that you just mentioned. And yay to you signing us off with a ringing thing of deliciousness.
Let's let a little deliciousness ring with the fact that this new season of Love is Blind is still ongoing and we haven't even gotten to the juicy part of it. So let that deliciousness ring.